It's no secret that I'm bad at cubing, as if you've seen me cubing before, as if you've seen my videos before. But compared to the very best of the best that you should obviously be comparing yourself to, it's amazing how bad I am when compared to a literal child. This is Yiheng Wang, the current world record holder, who can solve a cube so fast that I don't need to speed up the clip to fit it within my natural talking cadence. He can solve a cube in 3.08 seconds, 10 times faster than my average. I mean, my time isn't particularly good, but at least I'm proud of it. In 1982, the world record was won by Min Tai with a time of 22.95 seconds. Now, we have gotten 7 times faster, and the world record has become even more perfect. Every time the record is broken, people think that it is the final barrier. We will never get past this point. The world record has peaked. Go home and hug your child because you will never be a 10-year-old boy. But I believe in the miraculous power of technology and the indomitable human spirit. In a couple of years, I expect time travel technology to solve cubes before we even start. The very peak of human capability, pushing the very limits of physics itself. Cubing so fast that we manage to cube at the very theoretical limit, the speed of light. Here's the gross math section. You can skip over this timestamp if you don't like yucky math, but I took 8th grade math, and by God, I will get my money's worth. An average cube is 56 millimeters in length, and width, and depth, but it spins rotated around the center. So if we want to find the distance a piece travels, you need to get the radius of that circle, which is just the hypotenuse of our cube, which is something about 79 millimeters. The radius of that is cut in half, and so our radius is something around 40 millimeters. So now we just have to find the distance from one point of the circle where it intersects the square and another point. And so that's just a 45-degree angle once and another 45-degree angle, which is 90 degrees in total. So it's a fourth of the circumference, which is about 62.2 millimeters. One turn on the cube is about 62 millimeters. We know that light travels at about 300 million meters per second. You convert that into millimeters by timesing it by 1,000. And we take our 62 millimeters and we multiply it by about 299 billion to get a TPS of about 5 billion. 5 billion turns per second is a pretty big number. Of some of the best solves, the turns per second is almost 15 TPS. 5 billion is greater than or equal to 15. So what would it look like if you were able to turn at such a speed? The average move count of a high-level solve is about 42 turns. 42 turns at a 5 billion TPS is about 1/119 millionth of a second, or about 8 nanoseconds. You humans have, on average, a 250 millisecond reaction time, which is about 31 million times lower than our theoretical perfect cuber. I'll just give him a name, for example. Like Ezekiel, but like Ezecube. Yeah, you get it. But what if he was better? What if Ezekiel was not only the fastest turner, but also the smartest? What if he was able to solve a cube in the fewest moves possible? God's number is the fewest amount of moves to solve any cube, and it's found to be 20 seconds. 20 moves is half as much as 40. So Ezekiel is now able to get around a 4 nanosecond solve. At this point, you wouldn't even be able to see the pieces moving at all. Ezekiel may be perfect in every way in my eyes, but even he can't see faster than light itself. So what if he did it without seeing? This is Tommy Cherry. Besides from his absolutely breathtaking eyes, he's also the world record holder for 3x3 blindfolded. Blind includes the time to analyze and memorize the cube as well as to solve, so Ezekiel is at a bit of a disadvantage. Blind is typically 70 to 80 moves, so it'd be about 16 nanoseconds, but it would also take him about 5 seconds to memorize it. That would mean that Ezekiel would spend about 300 million times more time spent memorizing than actually solving. But what if you didn't know how to solve blind? I certainly don't. It hurts my head trying to remember stories about Donkey Kong and various electrocuted objects. What if, instead of trying to solve blind, Ezekiel just solves every cube the exact same way? That's what the devil's algorithm is, a way to solve any cube regardless of its scramble, following a set algorithm of 34 quadrillion moves. Ooh, okay. 34 quadrillion divided by 5 million TPS is about 7 million seconds, which is only about 81 days. That's pretty good for not being able to see the cube at all. But what if Ezekiel didn't know how to solve a cube? All that time practicing his finger tricks means that he doesn't have the time to actually learn how to solve a cube. So instead, why not have him just randomly turn the cube until he solves it? There are 43 quintillion possible ways to scramble a cube, but only one way to solve it. If Ezekiel randomly turns the cube, there is a 1 in 43 quintillion chance that he gets it right. Assuming that Ezekiel somehow manages to turn and get a completely new scramble, but gets extremely unlucky at every point along the way, he would need to keep turning 43 quintillion times. 43 quintillion at a 5 billion TPS doesn't seem too bad, but that's about 8.6 billion seconds, or about 270 years.
So get to work.
So there you go. The fastest possible time to solve a cube is undoubtedly, without argument, 273 years. And since 30 seconds is slightly smaller than that, that makes me a good cuber. Thank you.